Chairman, I yield back.
Thank you.
Gentleman yields back. The chair now recognizes the gentleman from Hawaii, Mr. Case.
Oops. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, Ranking Member, witnesses. Appreciate being with you here this morning. Let me start by saying that I fully support all three of these bills. I completely agree that we do have to take these additional steps, should take these additional steps to fully preserve the historic, cultural, religious patrimony of the indigenous peoples of our country. So I'm all in on the bills. I'm here for Native Hawaiians today because, in all honesty, I have a sense of frustration that these bills, for whatever reason, do not encompass Native Hawaiians. This has been an effort throughout the last couple of Congresses, and I feel like I have had to come to this committee, my committee, and to the Native American and Alaska Native communities and to the Department of the Interior too many times now to say, well, you know, these are all great ideas, but what happened to Native Hawaiians? And so I'd just like to do a little refresher course here. Native Hawaiians are the indigenous peoples of our country whose origins are in Hawaii. They fit every category of indigenous peoples. President Sharp, to your testimony, they have a special relationship with the land. They have a special relationship with the federal government. They have their own land that comes from the federal government. And by the way, all land in Hawaii originated with the Kingdom of Hawaii and previously with the prior incarnations of the Kingdom of Hawaii. All federal land in Hawaii originates with the Kingdom of Hawaii. It just transferred to this federal government at annexation. We have Native Hawaiian organizations in Hawaii that are the equal of any Native American or Alaska Native organization anywhere. The Office of Hawaiian Affairs now has a net asset position of $750 million. So this is a real community. And they have all of the same concerns and questions with the maintenance and protection of their patrimony. Mention was made of petroglyphs at the Gila River. We have petroglyphs. We have heiau. We have archaeological sites that are threatened right now because they're not fully under Native Hawaiian control. And so we need the same things that this bill provides for Native Hawaiians. And unfortunately, the pattern too much of the time has been Native Hawaiians are a little bit of an afterthought. And so the Native Hawaiian community and others have to come forward and basically include them. We've had this debate, this Congress with the RESPECT Act for basic federal consultation. We think we've worked that out. We're having it right now with the Truth and Healing Commission for the Indian boarding schools. We had Indian boarding schools in Hawaii, and yet Native Hawaiians are not part of the proposed commission. That's inexcusable. We welcome Secretary Holland's decision to include a specific Native Hawaiian channel in co-stewardship of federal lands. So here's the bottom line. I'm really tired of having to come back and try to include Native Hawaiians all of the time. And so that's a little bit of, I'm just putting it on the table here. I don't want to do this anymore. I want bills to come before us that include Native Hawaiians. When they talk about Native Americans and Alaska Natives, Native Hawaiians are there too. And if there need to be special, adjustments for Native Hawaiians, that's great. We've had 40 plus years of great partnership where we have helped American Indians and Native Alaskans and vice versa, and we've all been in this together. So that's a prelude to a pretty straightforward question. And I'll start with you, Mr. Newland. Is there any policy reason whatsoever why Native Hawaiians could not enjoy the same benefits of these bills as is proposed for American Indians and Alaska Natives?
Congressman, as it relates to the spiritual and religious practices and the cultural values of the landscapes in Hawaii to Native Hawaiian people, certainly there's a desire to protect those interests and make sure that we're being respectful of those religious practices.
Okay, so there's no policy reason to exclude Native Hawaiians from the provisions of these bills, the proposals. So in other words, very specific now to the tangible protection of Native Hawaiian patrimony on federal lands. That's what these bills are about, right?
Yes.
Is there any reason to distinguish between American Indians, Alaska Natives, and Native Hawaiians from that perspective?
Congressman, I think that to the extent that the language in the bill refers to federally recognized tribes and tribal governments, that's based upon their unique legal status, which is different from the present-day legal status of Native Hawaiians. But as it relates to the cultural and religious interests and values, those are very similar.
Okay, my time is up. I'll submit the request for the same question and answer with you, President Sharp. I would note that we have solved that federal recognition issue in lots of other bills. So I don't think that's a good enough reason. Okay, thank you very much. But we'll follow up. I yield back.
Gentleman yields back, and we thank the gentleman for his passionate advocacy. The chair